Hi everyone, it's Nikki Witt. Welcome to part 6 of our series, Pray, Forgive, Heal, A Journey Through the Song of Prayer. Today we're talking about section 5 in chapter 1. It's called The Latter Ends, and it's actually the last section of the prayer chapter. So in this section, Jesus is talking a lot about humility. Okay, and he says, humility brings peace because it does not claim that you must rule the universe, nor judge all things as you would have them be. All little gods it gladly lays aside, not in resentment, but in honesty and recognition that they do not serve. And he also goes on to say, the truly humble have no goal but God, because they need no idols and no defense, and defense no longer serves a purpose. So humility and arrogance are another one of those concepts that the Course tells us that we have completely upside down. We have flipped it 180 from what it truly is. So in this world that we think that we're living in, we see humble people as, they kind of put themselves down. I'm not that good. I'm just, the average Joe. There's nothing special about me. And I have trucks going behind me, so might take some little pauses. I didn't know this was trash day around this park on Thursday, but now I do. Okay, so and we think that arrogant people are kind of all full of themselves. They think they're so great, right? Well, the Course tells us that actually to be humble means that we know we have the power of God behind us and with us, that we know we are powerful, and that we don't need to do anything on our own, that all we have to do is call on that power, which is of God, and that we can actually move mountains. How awesome is that? And that arrogance is thinking that we are alone, thinking we have to do things on our own, and that we're not anything special, and there's, we're just like this lowly creature, and that's kind of devaluing, defacing what God created us to be. So I like this line in here where he talks about, calls it the arrogance of sin. Okay, so how is sin arrogant? How is believing in sin arrogant? Well, if God created us perfect, which the Course tells us that he did, then how can we think that we have changed that in any way? If we believe that either we ourselves have sinned so badly that we have changed our perfection, we've made it less than, or that somebody, a brother in our lives has done the same thing, then that's saying that we have more power than God. And that's what he calls the arrogance of sin, the arrogance of believing in sin, thinking we've sinned, thinking that in any way we can change what God created. God created us perfect, each and every one of us. And to think otherwise, to think that we could possibly change that, is the height of arrogance. Okay, so humility is knowing our true selves. It's knowing who we are, that we are perfect as God created us. So again, you see how that is in opposition to what we think in this world. Thinking we're perfect is actually humble, right? And in this world, when somebody puts off the air that they think they're perfect, we call that arrogance. So another example of where we flipped things. And then he goes on to say that in this stage of the prayer, at this stage of the ladder of prayer, we're at the end now, that we can now truly join with our brothers. Okay? And he even has a line in here that says, whenever someone comes to you to join in prayer, to say, I cannot go without you, for you are a part of me. Now remember that we're not just only talking about prayers that we say in our prayer time, right? We're talking about the praying we do without ceasing. So whenever we have a thought about somebody else, and that is when who comes to us to join in prayer. People come to us, they don't have to be physically in front of us or talking to us on the phone or on FaceTime or anything like that. they come to us in our mind, in our thoughts. So when we have a thought about somebody, the only thing we should be thinking about them is that they are part of me. They are part of us. And that is where we want to be in our prayers, not in all these attack thoughts and judgments. There is a poem by Rumi, I'm going to paraphrase it here, where he talks about out beyond all the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I will meet you there. And to me, that's just so awesome, because it's like, yeah, we're all in this field of perfection. You know, whatever kind of field is the most perfect for you that you can imagine, that's where you are. And we are all there. And all of this stuff that we think that we have done, that other people have done, all of this stuff that we see in the world as sin and bad and wrong, it's just all BS, right? BS stands for, besides what we think it stands for, it also stands for belief system. It's all just false belief system. None of it has happened. None of it has occurred. And to think that it could have in any way affected the perfection of God that He set up for us in this field is pure arrogance. So the next thing that we're going to be doing, chapter 2, is forgiveness. So that's how you get to that field, right? I mean, it all sounds so, that it sounds great, but how do I get there? How do I go from having all these judgments about my brother and myself? Because, you know, we talked about before that all of the stuff we put out there on the people in our lives is really just projection of what we're thinking about ourselves. So we feel guilty, we feel shameful, we feel there's something wrong with us. And instead of looking at that, the ego tells us, no, it's out there, just project it out there, and then those people will be wrong, and you'll be fine. So how do we start to forgive? That's what we're going to be talking about next week, and I can't wait to see you. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.